Hello and welcome back to another video on the channel. So today we're going to be looking at a completed TroopaCoola JMC E-11 blaster. Wrong one. Silly me, picked up the wrong one, but here we are. This is the actual TroopaCoola JMC E-11 kit, which I've completed. I've done some build videos of this, but I've never really showcased the completed blaster. So today's video is essentially a short slideshow of the process, the build process, with some completed photos right at the end. Any questions you have about the build processes, just pop them in the comments or visit the JMC Blaster group on Facebook. But this is essentially kit one, which comes as you see it. This is basically 98%, I'd say, kit one. I've just added a few little parts here and there, which is the scope rail, a couple of rivets and a couple of screws here and there. But otherwise, this is basically what comes with kit one. If you want all the replacement metal parts and loads of extra accessories, just contact TroopaCoola JMC and then you can get the additional kit, which comes with all the little bells and whistles. But anyway, that's enough from me. Into the slideshow. As I say, any questions, just pop them in the comments. Thanks a lot. So here we go. The kit comes really nicely packaged, which is great. All of the parts are in separate bags. So all of the magazine parts, for example, or the Henksler counter, things like that came grouped, which is really good if you're new to blaster building. And as you'll see on screen, a lot of them are essentially they're resin casts. So there will be quite a lot of excess resin that you'll need to sand away, but that's just part and parcel with any resin kit. Resin can be quite nasty, so make sure you've got some sort of mask to protect you, and also a Dremel, some sort of rotary tool is really handy for this sort of work. As you can see, we're taking a look at various parts to see how they go together. Some parts can just be glued straight away, but do bear in mind how they're going to be painted later. Look ahead to the paint processes and see whether each part needs a specific paint colour. You can see here that I've started test fitting a few parts together. For most of this, I would normally use super glue. That's going to be the easiest way to get these put together, but do just obviously check into which glue is best for you before you start gluing parts together. The folding stock that I had was slightly wonky. One side of it was slightly bent. So what I did was I actually used some brackets. I created a little frame, clamped that around it, and then put it over some heat, and that allowed me to straighten it out. You can see that on the top left hand side photo now it was a bit wonky. I straightened it out using heat just from a kettle. Very simple. Next up, I decided to make the magazine release button a little bit more realistic. So there was no hole in that part in the magazine well, so I just found a relevant size drill, drilled in a small hole, and that allowed me to actually put the magazine release button into the magazine well, which I thought just looked a little bit more realistic. Totally optional, of course. You can now see some paint being applied, including standard grey primer, but also some silver metallic. For more details on the paint, I would recommend watching the slightly more detailed videos as they go into which parts would need to be painted which colour. But you will see on here there's a variation of them, so again make sure you do your research on which parts need which paint colours before you start gluing and painting everything. On screen now is a prime example. The Henxler counter is half one colour and half another. That's because the real life item is metal at one end and plastic at the other. So again, just bear that in mind before you start gluing bits together and before you start spray painting it. So that's essentially the end of the progress photos. I'll now leave you with some nice photos of the finished blaster. Enjoy! Thanks for watching the video. I hope that's been helpful. If it has, please feel free to drop a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.